how's Trix? What's new?
Well, I remarried.
Oh, I love your wives. Is she hot? Too soon. I heard it.
What is up, Nerdtectives? Welcome back to another episode of Nerds at Night. How is everybody doing out? You know where you're at, out in podcast land. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're doing wonderful. I'm still doing good. Still a little banged up, still recovering, but recovering well. Bruce is going down. Life's going good. Things are moving. We're good. We don't need to know about my life, though. We're here. We all know what we're here to talk about, because today we're talking all about. All right, let's just get into it. This episode, wild. Very, very wild, very uncommon episode 9. Usually we are given, I think I said the word or the term spoon-fed. We are spoon-fed who the killer is going to be by episode 9. And they didn't do that this time. They went a whole different route, and good for them to do something different, because this season, I'll be honest, like some episodes have dragged on a little bit longer than others. And some episodes I've just really enjoyed. This episode, though, let's give it up for Nathan Lane. That's Teddy Demas. The MVP of this episode, and there's not a close second. Like, far and beyond, just Usain Bolt, the whole cast ran ahead of everybody and then decided to lap everybody. That's what he did. Instead of, what we'll do, instead of doing a recap, we all know what this episode is. I don't think I need to do a recap. I will do at the end of this season. I'll drop a recap for every single episode. I did it. I did it last year, and then somebody complained that, like, oh, you're one of those channels that does that. And then they were like, I'm going to unsubscribe. I don't know who it was. I forget who it was. But somebody complained that I dropped a whole, like, episode by episode recap. It was just episode by episode recap. And, like, that video was so helpful for me coming into the season, because I didn't feel like rewatching Only Murders. I'll be honest, I didn't feel like doing it. I, like, revisited season 2, but, like, I just didn't feel like revisiting the whole thing. So, like, I watched my own recap, and, like, I was like, okay, cool. In like 40 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever, however long it was. Okay, I got the whole season back. Perfect. This is great. So it was helpful for me. And then I was like, I should probably, if I do it, I'll add some music to it. Like that would have been the one thing. So I'll do that. Let's not do a recap for this episode. I know last week it was for saving time. I'm actually not saving any time. We're just going to I'm definitely not saving myself any time by having to do the edits that I'm about to do. But let's do a whole montage. You guys know where I'm going with this, of Teddy Demas's of Nathan Lane's one-liners from this episode, his scenes. Let's just do that. Let's cut to a clip.
I'm waiting on my company van to come move my stuff.
Is this the same van that you used to try to kidnap me?
All right. Good times.
I am done investigating.
What the fuck did you just say?
I know. Where was this fun quitting attitude when it came to a cute family of grave robbers? I loved you in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I'm taking that.
Howard, are you fucking that thing? Howard's ex.
All of the lines from all of them. The moment you see him, you know that you're in for a treat. It's just banger after banger after. And when he asked Howard if he was fucking the robot, were we not all thinking that? Like, or people were saying it in the comments, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, we all felt that way. We all definitely felt that way, bro. You're a little too close to that. What we know why, though, right? We know why. Like, sympathy there, but, like, it's still funny. I don't care where you're from. That shit's fucking funny, dude. So that was great. But let's get into this. So we'll do that. We did that in place of the recap. We'll get into some clues. We'll do fan comments. And I thought last week was going to be the last time we were going to have a suspect board where we're like, okay, after this, we know where to move people. No. The show said, hold my beer, Blake. Let me throw a little wrench your way. So this week will actually be, we'll go back to it next week, but this will be the final week where we're like making some solid guesses still. So that makes me excited. Also, as I'm enjoying doing this breakdown, of course, you know, I have to have whiskey. If you're watching this out there too, so let's cheers first. Cheers. Bing. Oh, that's so good. If you're watching this, there's two people that sent money for the little glasses. I have them boxed up, and tomorrow I'm sending them out to UPS. So look out for them soon. Y'all two know who y'all are. And I still have 2 more glasses left. If anybody would like, I think it was $10. They sent $10, and that was enough for the glasses and to cover the shipping. Even if shipping's a little bit more, who cares? I just want to make sure y'all get. I just want to make sure y'all get the glasses. Like, that's first. I want to make sure that, and then we'll figure out pricing later. I'm not making money off of this, right? I just want to make sure y'all get some cool Nerds at Night stuff in the meantime. That's not just the shirt. Like, you have a little cup. I think you have a little cup. You can, like, oh, you have it around your friends. You're so fancy, right? You're so freaking fancy. So what am I drinking tonight, though? I told you for the last few episodes, right? Episode 7, 8. We're on episode 9, so we need a 9-year whiskey. And I have one in my collection, but it was a little bit harder to find. I wanted to pick something that's very easy to find. You could find this at your local whatever liquor store, or if you have like a Total Wine, you know, that's a sort of a bigger chain. They definitely have this, and it's usually for a really amazing price. Knob Creek 9-year. So we're on episode 9. So we're on 9-year, $28.99. I think I spent on this for a 9-year whiskey. That's incredible pricing, because usually they charge for like every year it's aged. It's like, think of it like $10. So like a 9-year whiskey sometimes will be $90, or 10-year whiskey sometimes will be $100. 7 years, you do the math, right? So the fact you have a 9-year whiskey and it's $30 essentially, like, it's incredible pricing. If you guys are able to find it, cool. Drink it. Watch this episode as you're anticipating episode 10, or just watch it, or just drink it and think of me. That's beautiful. That's great. Lovely. Thank y'all. But that's what we're sipping tonight. That's what I'm sipping tonight. Hopefully, if you're a whiskey fan, you're drinking with me. If you're sober out there, yeah, have a little, water, Diet Coke, Gatorade, whatever you're into, right? Whatever non-alcoholic drink, non-alcoholic beer. I'm a big non-alcoholic beer fan. Actually, I do that with a whiskey. It just sort of keeps my pacing correct, and I'm not getting doubly crazy. But I'm rambling for too long. You guys know what time it is. We need to figure out and talk about some clues. So let's get right into the clues. Our first clue is the robot is a witness to various sightings in the staff quarters, which comes into play later in the episode. We next find a sandal print, which we can trace back to Randall from his picture, but this leads us to find a secret door. A new clue called out on this show by fans after episode 4. While we find a passageway, we find blood stains, paint stains, and a staircase leading to the Catchamelios dry cleaning business. The paint is something we can trace back to the white stain found on Nikki's body during the autopsy. Also, by finding the staircase to the dry cleaners, we know how Nikki's body was taken out of the casino. Next, we see Randall tell his side of the story, and we find out he didn't kill Lester. We next see video footage from Lester the robot with Lester talking to Randall before he died. He has a bloody elevator crank, and he says he thinks he killed someone and asks Randall to take the shrimp to Oliver's place. So now we know how the shrimp got to Oliver's place in the first place, with the finger in it. But now we have to ask, whose blood is on the crank, and who did Lester think he killed? Our next clue is, why did Jay want to go to the Maldives and seemingly so quick? Is it because the Maldives is a non-extradition country? Does Jay have more to do with this than we know? I mean, what's up with the look that Lester the robot gives Jay? Next, we find out where the marks in front of Charles's refrigerator came from, and we're able to trace it back to Nona and the Catchamelio boys who took the finger the night that Charles was out with Sophia. Clearly, this was hinted to us based on one of the boys wearing a party hat, the same hat he would have worn when the boys were out celebrating celebrating Mikey's 36th birthday. Those were all the clues from this episode. A lot of good ones. And I'm glad that we figured out who that mark belonged to. Did anybody have Nona on their bingo card? Not in general, but that she made those marks, right? Like, I don't think I saw that anywhere in the comments, but I did see people very early on say, Nona. And it's like, yeah, but also a lot of people on Reddit are very happy with themselves. I'll say that for picking Nona. We don't even know if she killed anybody. Like, pump the brakes a little bit. Like, we know she's involved. We don't know the extent. And I don't think she's the mastermind behind this. You think that they are going to give a person who's had maybe 2 minutes of screen time? You think they're going to make them the killer? That is not what's going to happen. I guarantee that's not what's going to happen. But for the people that at least called out Nona being suspicious, good for you. Went over my head just because I'm like, no, there's not enough screen. There's not enough of that to, oh yeah, for sure she did it. No, that's just crazy, right? And the Catch Emilio boys, they are involved. Who said it? Who was it? Ivan, who came on the show, and he was sort of thinking like a kind of could be an everybody, kind of like a Murder on the Orient Express type of everybody's sort of involved. It's feeling that way. It really is feeling that way. So we'll get to all that though on the suspect board. But for right now, though, you guys know what time it is. It's probably one of y'all's favorite time. It's my favorite time. Let's get into some fan comments right now. Our first comment comes in from Chris Wall 3922. Interesting that during the silly Last Supper scene, Miller is sitting in the Judas seat. Yeah, very interesting, because does he have a part to play in this? We're going to see. We got introduced to him at episode 9. You know my thoughts on suspects and the way the show treats suspects. If you were not in the first 3.5 episode, you're not the killer. But could he be involved in something? Let's see, good call out right there. Our next comment comes in from Jacaranda Flowers. I don't believe that Lester killed anyone, and I'm not trusting the Lester footage at this point. I now think they are setting up Howard to be the next victim. Hope not, but let's see. Yeah, I think this episode did set up Howard not being around. Last week I was betting money. I would have bet money that Loretta would have been on the chopping block, but Howard makes the most sense now because of this episode. But I said this too. Who was I talking to? I think I was talking to Megan, and she talked about Howard, and I was like, yeah, but if Howard goes, I'm going to need a really good explanation on who the big bad is, who's been doing wacky shit throughout all the seasons. I'm going to need a really good explanation on who that could be, because we all pinpoint Howard, and maybe the writers listen to us and they're like, oh, you think it's Howard? That's cool. Let's take him off the map, and now you can try to figure out who it is, because now you don't know for sure. You got me then. I don't think he'll be around, and we don't have any answers on who did it. And it's interesting. You said you don't want to trust the Lester footage. That's interesting, because like, what if they're just kind of being performative in front of Lester, knowing he's recording, right? Like, think about that. I don't know if we shouldn't trust him, but I do know there is some points to being performative. Lester, the actual human, he was an actor, right? I read this thing on Reddit. I don't know if I quite believe it, that maybe the blood, it's not real blood, but like they bought a lot of maraschino cherries. Remember that order from episode 5 when they're looking at all the receipts to Tommy the Tongue? I'll let Mabel tell it right now.
Looks like invoices. Liquor, mixers, lot of maraschino cherries. They're all from the night of the murder.
But yeah, like they ordered a lot of maraschino cherries. And that's like really interesting. If you're like looking at this, like they sort of, they had like a play set up or something, like not a play, but like, you get what I'm saying? Like they faked it. Like something is fake about it just to be performative in front of Lester the robot. That's an interesting thought. I don't know if they'll lean into it, and I'm not quite bought in, but I do think that's like, it's not outside of what the show would do. They could do something like that. So let's see. Great comment right there. Our next comment comes in from Kenya1326. This was a good episode, but I feel a twist coming. Lester didn't kill Nikki. I'm still eyeing Mayor Tillman. I'm eyeing Mayor Tillman too, and that's why I'm not recording this until this is Wednesday evening. Usually it's late Wednesday evening, but I usually will have something recorded Tuesday and then Wednesday, get this out Thursday. I'm editing Wednesday to get it out Thursday. This won't be out till Friday, and I'm sorry, but here's the point of that. I've been rewatching episodes specifically for Mayor Tillman, and I've been noticing he has a ring on his left finger, on his left index finger. He bends it, he uses it, he does all type of tricks and stuff with it. He does stuff with it. But it's just rather interesting that y'all have been saying this in the comments, and I'm like, no, I don't want this. But that ring is really low on his finger. Could it be just a fake finger? I don't listen. It pains me. You can see this. It pains. I'm gonna need a drink. It pains me. Oh, that's good. It pains me that might be the case, and I really hope it's not. But it's noticeable. And him pointing the blame to Bash, he had to have been there. He had to have been there that night. We don't have any solid evidence, but everybody at this point finger pointing to Mayor Tillman. I'm not mad at it. Kenya, great comment. Our next comment comes in from well-known anonymous. Blood on the crank could be from the finger, but I'm not sure if one could chop off a finger with a crank. This is the only reason I think the blood is from Jay's injury. It's interesting because I have this thought that Lester hit Nikki. I still think he hit him. And I think the blood's from his mouth. I think he hit him in the mouth or nose or the face area. I think he hit him here. Because if you notice, when we see Nikki, he's got blood around his mouth area that didn't come from the knife. You could get, you see the movies, they get stabbed and then they're coughing up blood or whatever. Yeah, sure. But I think he got hit in the mouth. I think he got hit in the mouth and then knocked out or knocked down, and Lester's running. And then he comes to, and somebody actually kills him with the knife. I honestly think that's what happened. So it is, you can't chop off a finger with a crank. It'd take a while. It'd be painful, probably. Maybe you could. Maybe somebody's tried it. I don't know. But the blood from Jay's injury, I'm still leaning, and this is just me. I'm still leaning that injury's fake in an effort to try and find a finger. They tried to come up with this crummy game plan to find this finger. I think that's what the billionaires did. So I don't know. But you might be right. Jay did have an actual injury. The blood did get on the crank. Lester did hit somebody. All these events could have happened. I don't know. We'll see. But great comment right there. Next comment comes in from Pika2754. We definitely didn't get any killer reveals. We didn't. Unfortunate, but we didn't. I would have loved something, but I'm sort of glad. I'm sort of glad they didn't do it. Thank you. You've done something right for once. So yeah, that's good comment right there. Next comment comes in from Yana477. No, Lester didn't kill Nikki. The trio did their autopsy and he died from the cleaver. Lester used the crank on the person missing their finger. How would Lester take Nikki's body up those stairs? Have they tested the crank for blood? They didn't test the crank for blood, not that we know of. They might have done it off screen, and then Detective Williams is like, oh, remember I tested the blood from the crank or whatever. They might have done that. Who knows? But Lester obviously didn't take Nikki's body up the stairs because, he wouldn't, he's just not strong. He's not going to lift him. But we also know whoever took Nikki's body, right, would have had to freeze him and then bring him back into the dry cleaners. So I get it. I think they were maybe trying to point that direction, but obviously we know that wasn't the case. Whoever took Nikki's body did use the stairs, but it wasn't Lester. I think Lester thought he killed somebody and didn't. I'm still really leaning hard into that. Good comment right there. And our last comment comes in from Lauren Harper 7571. I enjoyed this episode. I don't think Lester killed Nikki though, and I don't think he hit him with a crank because we, the trio, only saw a stab wound on Nikki. So that leads me to believe that he hit Jay. He's the only one injured, and I think either Nona and the boys are working with Jay, or Jay is involved with Sophia and stole the finger back from them. He wouldn't know that they had it since he tampered with the footage, or maybe he's involved with Nona. He had said he had multiple wives he had to put in a nursing home or something, so I wouldn't put it past him. I think one of the mentions of Jay, I think you're talking about Bash, and I think we talked about in the comments, but it would be interesting that Bash involved with Sophia, stole back the finger, yada, yada. This finger business, let's dig into this real quick. For what we know, Nona and the boys stole the finger from the crew. They knew that the crew had our trio had the finger, obviously, because they brought it to the house. So let's map out the finger, right? Let's map it out. The trio finds it in Shrimp. The trio takes it with them to Staten Island. Staten Island. Then the trio accidentally knock it over. The mob boys that catch Emilio's and the grandma. Everybody knows they have a finger in a cup. They all know. And then next time we don't see the finger. They're trying to give it to Detective Williams. The next time we see the finger, the billionaires have it. Jay says that they paid good money. They paid a lot of money to get that. Then the next time we see the finger after they get it back stolen is Camilla White takes the finger away from the trio at gunpoint. Now the next time that we know about the finger is that the Nona and the Catch Emilio boys on the night that Sophia and Charles are out on their date, and it's afterwards and Charles isn't home, that they go in and they steal the finger. For me, that timeline doesn't work. Like, I understand, like, that is the only time that Charles wouldn't have been there, but rewatch episode 5 and episode 6 like back to back and tell me it doesn't feel like a few days have passed. Because what the show is trying to tell us, as if we're dumb, they're trying to tell us that in episode 5, Charles goes on the date. He comes back the next day. They go to Flatbush to go find the phone because they can trace it. They see it. Sophia, Lorraine. They're trying to tell us that in that same day, Loretta moved in to Oliver's, right? And he had to have been expecting her, and he didn't mention it in the previous episode. Like, she's not just gonna like come over. She had to have called him or texted him, "Hey, my place burned down." So her place burns down. She moves into Oliver's. Like, this is all the same day, right? And then Charles talks about like how Sophia brought him back the phone, but she hasn't texted him since. And he's on the apps and he hit it and quit it and all this bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just very upset. They're in an entirely different outfit. It just feels like more time has passed. I say all this because we meet Thea that same day in episode 6. And she says the night before that she passed by 14C. Right? Like, are you getting what I'm saying? Like, no. I thought that was an entirely. Did y'all not think that was an entirely different night? That Charles and Sophia went on a date, not the same night that Thea passed by 14C. There's too much that happened in episode 6. And then that same day, Loretta is there with Oliver. They go out back to Lorraine's house where she has a for sale sign that wasn't there in the first place. Like, do you see my frustration? Like, this cannot be real. Like, this cannot be real, but they're making it real. There has to be a different night that like Charles wasn't home for this for it to make sense to me. That I'm just frustrated. I'm very frustrated. It's not y'all's fault, but like, think about it. Watch 5, watch 6, do the timeline math. This doesn't make sense. This is the problem. And this is a problem with the show. Let me get on my high horse real quick. This is the problem with this show when they have multiple writers who don't write episodes together. They write one. Okay, here's the story beats we need. Let's do what we want to in between. No, do not do that. Stop that. You need one writer to help write all the episodes so it can be cohesive. Because this shit right here, this doesn't make sense, right? But it's making they're making it make sense, but it doesn't make sense at all. Like Charles should have been like, "Oh, I was home. I wasn't home. Where was I?" Right? Something when Thea was like, "Oh, I saw lights coming from there." Where was he? Where was he? They're trying to convince us that everything happened. He comes back all wrecked up from having Love Shack time with Sophia. He's all, battered. Just like in La La Land, you know what I mean? Like, and then he's all cleaned up in episode 6 and they're out to investigate. Like, no, dude, this does not compute with me. I do not like this at all. But that's apparently what they're telling us. They're talking to us like they're retconning a whole bunch of shit, and I have problems with this. But I'll reel it back in. That's the finger timeline though. Sophia, Charles out, the boys, Nona still the finger. They still the finger. They sell the finger to the billionaires for some amount of money. Which billionaires? Jay makes it seem like it was Camilla and Bash, but could have been him too. It could have thrown in a little here a little couple grand right here, here a little couple rubber band mans, you know what I mean? Like he could have been involved. He's been very suspicious this episode too. Like if he wasn't already high, he is on the list. He's definitely high now. I am just rambling and I'm frustrated, but these were lovely fan comments. Thank you everybody for sending in your comments. Is fantastic, is great. But you guys know what time it is. It is our final time. I said this last week. It is our final time though with the suspect board. And it saddens me and it's bittersweet. But let's do this one more time. Let's go to the suspect board. All right, folks, we are on the suspect board one last week. Let's do this though. We always like to start off a little bit different every single time. Sometimes we start from the top. Sometimes we start from the bottom. I think so far we're doing pretty well. And again, I just see Teddy Demas's face. Let me cut to a clip real quick of Teddy Demas.
And by the way, now that you're out of prison, the non-toilet thing is implied.
Force of habit. I really changed in the clink.
Oh God, yes. I need so much more of that. I don't know if we'll get him in the next episode, but like, such a pleasure to have him here. I'm so glad we kept him at the bottom because he has nothing to do with this, and that's awesome. I love that. We have to add somebody to the board though, and I'm a fool. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a fool. I didn't put her on here just because I was like, well, we just don't see her enough. And we see her, and she plays a part in this episode. So I have to add her here. And that is good old Nona right there. And we're going to put her at probably not. And we're going to move the Catch Amelia boys to probably not. And we're going to move Camilla White to probably not. And here's why. In the comment section last week, somebody said, suspects can't have iPhones if they're villains. Remember the iPhone rule? And they were talking about Sophia Quetzalcoatl. In this case, though, if somebody can tell me in the comments the episode where she's holding an iPhone, I am happy to remove her off this list. Me and Ivan from Filmer Dude 24 from his channel. Also, shout out to his latest episode. Go watch that shit. Like that is top notch. Filmer Dude right there. I hope every episode is like that episode. And y'all seem to enjoy it. Like it got so many. I just blown away by what he did with the latest episode because he usually has this whole plan and he just ranted and like went on tangents and like talked about this episode in some really great ways. So go watch that. But me and him, we talk very frequently about the show. But he got in his comments too. Some people wrote him that Sophia Quetzalcoatl had an iPhone and we couldn't find it. And this was like the night the episode came out, even the next day. We just haven't been able to find it. So if you could tell me the episode where Sophia Quetzalcoatl has an iPhone, I'm glad to remove her from this list because, as we know, they just don't like to be associated with villains. iPhones and villains don't go together. The only time this rule has been broken, and I told Ivan about this, so that means this rule must have come into effect afterwards, is in Scream 4. Spoiler alert, I'm about to tell you who the killer is. You can fast forward. 3, 2, 1. Jill has an iPhone and she ends up being a killer. Okay, come on back. But like that right there is the only exception I've ever seen where somebody has an iPhone and they're a villain. But I think this rule of the iPhone thing kind of went into effect after this movie. And the movie was obviously shot in 2010. iPhone started getting bigger after that. So, rule of thumb, though, you get an iPhone, you're probably not a killer. And I should have thought about that since day one. Camilla White has to come off the list. She didn't kill anybody. She didn't hurt anybody. Horribly, she set up people. She's still gonna get hers. She's still got to get hers, right? There's something coming to her for setting up these events, for buying the Arconia, for trying to, you can't go away scot-free. But we're talking about this list in sense of killers, and she is not a killer. So there she goes right there. Also, Lester the robot. We're going to move him down finally. And for good reason, right? Like, he just kind of knows a lot, and he revealed to us a lot, and he said he can't act out of malice, right? Like, he can't act out of anger. I'm going to laugh, though. I move him down here to probably not. There's no more maybe. Pretend the maybe section does not exist. Like, we have to have finite answers. You guys don't want maybe. You don't want to put everybody in maybe and be like, this is the maybe show. No, we cannot do that. So Lester goes and probably not, even though he was there, he was around there. But it has to be telling that if you notice, he can't go upstairs. He can't go. He's not a stair guy, right? I talked to you about J5 from Blank Man. If you guys know, you know that reference. Go type in J5 on. You don't do it now, but afterwards, type in J5 Blank Man YouTube. On YouTube, and you'll see J5, a little robot from the movie Blank Man. Shout out to Damon Wayans, big fan of the show, right? Of course, right? But yeah, he can't do stairs. We saw it in this episode, so he has to work on flat surfaces. That's it. So he would not have been down to the casino. Could he still chase Lester or bump Lester? Yeah, that obviously could happen. I'm just moving him down. Like, I just don't think he's the one. I don't think he's it. And we're supposed to be feeling sympathetic for him in this episode. So I do. Good on you, Lester. You come on down. Now this leaves us with everybody else. And we have Romy, we have Jay, who's highly suspicious, right? Like, why do you want to go to the Maldives so bad so quick? Not even so bad. Everybody wants to go. Hey, you want to go to Maldives? I want to go to Maldives. I got a passport. Who want to meet at the Maldives? Who want to do a Nerds at Night meet up at the Maldives? Right? Am I right? Like, that sounds like fun. But he wants to go so quick. And it just is weird. And the robot gives him a look, and it's so weird. And you're like, what the robot know? What does the robot know? Right? And he couldn't have been in the casino, so he wouldn't have seen Jay in there. And as far as we know, Lester is strictly in the quarters of the staffing, area, which is on a different floor. So likely Lester, that adds to my case even more. Likely Lester didn't go anywhere. He could take elevator. We obviously know he could take elevators, right? But I don't know if he left the room that night. And at least he wasn't there for Lester attacking somebody with a crank or some sort of blood incident. Like, he wasn't there for any of that, right? So I don't know if he would have crossed paths with Jay at some time, but he does have access to security footage. He does know some things. Maybe there was something that wasn't scrubbed that this Lester robot still knows about Jay. So Jay's got to stay there. Bash has to stay there. Lorraine is very interesting, and she's going to stay there. Thee's going to stay there. Mayor Tillman, top of the top. Like, he's just top of the top. He's everybody's top, right? He's on everybody's list. Look at any content creator They've got Mayor Tillman right up there. Oh, that's a good pour right there. But yeah, he is right up there. And he's highly suspicious at this point. And we're all leading to believe, right? The billionaires have amounts that they're willing to bid for the casino or throw in for a casino, something, yada, yada, goes through the mayor. I pointed this out very early on, right? How this was like episode 6. I was just like, he has to be involved. Like there's not a second way about this. He has to be involved. And so far, we're pointing the finger that he killed Nikki, which he very well could have. And we're pointing the finger that he is missing a finger, which, again, I don't want to believe it, but I can't think of anything better. There is not a better thought to this. Unless, of course, and they better not do this. I'm saying what they better not do. Jay is actually missing a finger. His finger was the one that was cut off. We've been wrong about finger pointing directions or whatever. He always had a backwards finger. It got broken, right? And so it's pointing a different direction, and it's actually Jay's finger. And he's been the finger guy the whole time, even though the show says, oh my God, no, it's not his finger. Yeah, it could be if it was broken. If the finger was broken before it got cut off, like it could absolutely be his finger. But the length of it just don't make no damn sense. The length of it don't make no damn sense. I don't know whose finger it is. I'm going to tell you this. I don't know whose finger this is. If it's not George's, I don't know whose finger this is. And I think we're all in agreement. Like, yeah, it's a bit outlandish, but like, who else do you got? Right? Who else do you got? We got Nikki, but he's got all his fingers. We got Lester hitting Nikki, and I think that did happen, but I don't think he killed him. I think he hit him in the mouth. Like, that's what I think happened. It's either that guy or George. And again, I keep bringing up George because it's like nobody else looks like they have any sort of facial injury or head injury from a piece of metal to the dome. Like, think about this. Like, and nobody is missing fingers. The only person that we've seen with gloves so far that is not in the clear is Camilla. She could have lost a finger, but she's not the villain, right? At minimum. But that finger don't look like a woman's finger. It looks like a man's finger. It is not the, hey, women's finger can't look like that. It just doesn't look like that's the direction that they're trying to point to. No pun intended with the pointer finger. Am I right? But that doesn't look like the direction they're going with this. What I think that they are doing with this, and the reason Sophia is still staying at the top, is, I don't know if you guys have looked this up, but there is a very interesting thing where if you look up Catchamilio, the Catchamilio meaning, if you just look it up on Google, it says Catchamilio is not a standard Italian word, but appears to be a name, possibly meaning catchy, meaning hunting, and melio, possibly from something else, meaning better. So better hunter. Okay, cool. And I sent it on into ChatGPT. And ChatGPT had some very interesting information. ChatGPT told me this. The surname Catchamilio is Italian origin, and while it's not common as some other Italian surnames, it likely comes from regional or family-specific root. Breaking it down, caccia could derive from the Italian verb, I'm not even going to pronounce that, meaning to hunt or to chase. Milio might be a variation of the name Emilio, which come from the Latin Emilias, meaning rival or eager, often associated with Roman guess Aemilia. Okay, so Catchamilio could be interpreted as the hunter eagle for a rival. Very interesting that they decided to choose that name. And it says, or could indicate someone descended from a family historically involved in hunting or competitive pursuit. Okay, let's think about this. If we're digging that deep, and you guys know, like, I don't know, I don't dig deep into some things. Like I let some things go. When Lester met Lorraine, she was looking at kids. Everybody was like, "Hey, what's up with the kids? What's up with the kids?" Best guess. I don't think it has anything to do with anything, but best guess, she's watching the Catch Emilio boys when they're young, because they're all between the ages of like 30 and 36. As far as we know. Lorraine and Lester have been married 30 years, right? Could point to Braden. There's a Braden thought that maybe Braden is, not from his family, could be Lester's. I do agree. That kid might be adopted for sure. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a reveal with Braden about some sort of parentage and history there. I don't know if it's Lester's, but it could be something that comes up. I say all this because there's a lot that I write off, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's whatever. The fire thing, like, I'm intrigued by the idea that it all has to do with this case, but also like it could just, if it ends up being a fire, like, and they never come back to it, like, I've been burned so much by season 4. I'm sort of at this point where I'm like, there's some things they're just going to forget about, and they don't care that they forgot about it, because it's not all the same writer. They have different writers. They have a big writer, but like, I don't think that person cares. I'm be honest. I don't think they care. I don't think they give a shit about these small details. They just need to make sure that we get to the end of the mystery and there's some laughs in there. That's what they want to do. So I say all that with like the thought, and Double P, me and him talked about it before we recorded our episode, and he talked about it on this week's episode that he recorded for the latest episode of episode 9, but where the naming convention comes into play. Jan Bellows, she wanted to, fireplace Bellows, she wanted to put whatever in the fireplace, poison the fireplaces for all the Arconia people. Okay. Betty, what's her name? Poppy, but her name was Betty Butler. Butler did it. Cliff, Donna, Belladonna, poison. You saw the video. And if you didn't see the video, I'll just keep talking. Belladonna, poisonous flower. They almost poison Ben Glenroy. But Cliff, obviously like an edge, like you fall off an edge. Ben Glenroy dies, edge. Marshall, right? You think guns. I think of a town marshal. He's got guns and firearms. He ended up shooting Saz, right? So like it just sort of makes sense. Naming convention wise, what do we have? We have Bash, who didn't bash anybody. Sebastian Bash. We have Jay, and somebody brought up in his comments, Flug, Plow. Plow is sharp. Maybe I'm not opposed to that. It just kind of sounds a little, well, okay. It could work though. It could work, and I could be completely off my rocker. But Catch Emilio, to I don't say make up, but like to find a name like that, that they pick these names on purpose, right? Like Catch Emilio, an eager hunter. Were you hunting Nikki or were you hunting Lester? I now have to ask that. It is very interesting. It's very interesting. So I don't know, naming convention wise, I like that thought of being an eager hunter. I don't know who you killed, Sophia, but you killed somebody. It does set into motion a lot of thoughts that I have about why even Sophia would come to the trio if she planned on killing her husband. Like Nikki's still alive at the point she goes and tries to find them, right? And we know we know he's still alive, right? Because the picture was taken shortly before. So we at least we're assuming he's still alive because they're saying he was there that night. So Nikki's there that night. Sophia's like, find my husband. Sophia is like, here's these cards. I don't know what they do. It seems as if she keeps giving them clues or is like around the way this whole time. Now, the thing with Sophia now is she hustled. We all know she hustled Charles in season 5 or episode 5, and we didn't know how hard she hustled him. But to keep him away, to keep him not at home, and so the boys and Nana could take the finger, That has to be, that's not a coincidence. To take Charles's phone and to know the code to go into his phone, which he says in episode 5, he gave her the code. Not coincidence. This is not coincidental. The way we're looking at Nana now is the way we should be looking at Sophia Quetzalcoatl. She is the queen. She is the godmother, not the godfather. She is the godmother of this entire case. Did she kill anybody? I don't know if she killed Nikki. She could kill Lester for sure. She's involved in somebody's death. This has to be it. She's involved in somebody's death. Is she involved with Mayor Bo Tillman? If we're believing Camilla's story, then Mayor or Jay. I'm going to go with one of the two. Nobody has this figured out, unfortunately, though. But Sophia, Mayor Tillman, I think I really want to move somebody here on this highly suspicious list. And it's tough. I want to move a few people, actually. I want to move Lorraine and I want to move Thee to top suspects. I don't know. I have a feeling. I think Jay looks really suspicious and they're making him look really suspicious in this episode. Is he supposed to be our savior at the end of the day? Right? Like, is he supposed to buy the Arconia back when Camilla gets in trouble because she was there that night and she has to, like, she can't be involved in the casino. So then Jay has to swoop in and save the day. They might go that route. I'm still going to leave him highly suspicious. Romy, y'all haven't convinced me that Romy's involved with this anyhow, other than she's around where the mayor is at. All right. By that logic, she's in highly suspicious, but I really want to move her down to probably not. Actually, I'm going to move her down to probably not. I might regret this. I really might regret this. But I'm going to move her down to probably not. Because I don't think she had nothing to do with it. We just need to clear these lanes. We need to get as specific as possible before the end. That leaves Bash and that leaves Jay as highly suspicious. And it's only because I know they probably didn't kill anybody, but they were around and they don't have iPhones. So sucks to suck, buddy. You could still kill somebody. And I do like this idea too. I move Lorraine here. I do like this idea too of the two wives working together. It explains a lot of stuff. Tommy the Tongue, the address. Lester would have been working with his wife to have a company. He would have been in on that. That's a great cover. The wives could have plotted together to maybe I don't think anybody wanted Lester to die. I don't think none of that was the plan, but I do think some of the plan was to, Sophia works with Basher Jay and Camilla's working with Nikki. That's an army, like that's one army versus another army, right? Now you have conflict. Oh, now this gets interesting. Now this gets real interesting because as we know, Jay and Bash are looking to open up casinos elsewhere, not here at the Arconia. It's Camilla's point out of revenge to open up the casino here in the I say here in the Arconia, like we're all living. We're all fellow Arconians. Am I right? But I just thought about that scene from the way I said that from the mayor when he said this.
I'm Michael Barbaro.
I don't know. I just felt like I said it in that same tone. But yeah, the wives being in on this plan together. They're each other's alibi. Think about this. They're each other's alibi. And they're like, well, we were here at the theater with the kids. Okay. But like the game doesn't start till 12. Where were you after that? The kids ain't performing at 12. They're in bed. And trust me, I got a kid. He in bed. He in bed at 8, at least. You know what I'm saying? So there is something fishy about that. There's also something fishy about Thee still. And she may not, it may be that whole thing. I'm not going to regret leaving her here, but there is that whole thing where if you live in the suite, you're not the killer. However, I had to Google this but where her apartment is, the suite, it should be directly above Charles's. So when she's like, "Oh, we were seeing these lights and we were in my suite," bullshit. I call bullshit. Why was the footage swiped over where Thea was outside of the door? Ask yourself that. You think Bash is that like reckless to erase that much footage? He wouldn't need to do that at all. He just needs to erase the footage of Nona going in and out. That's it. Nona and the boys going in and out. You don't need to erase somebody outside of a door. Why would you do that? That's highly suspicious. Thea's up there, whether she's involved. And she also, we don't see her in the Arconia in the lobby. Doesn't look like she's given up her suite. You ever think about that? How's she buying a suite when the whole apartment complex is being bought out? Very interesting to think about. She's involved in this somehow. I don't know what it is, but she's involved. Trust me. We do not wish we were you, Thea, at all right now. You're a top suspect. I'm leaving my list like this. And I know that one of these billionaires didn't do it, but they have to be there. All the billionaires are aware of what happened. They're not saying anything. One of these two is going to crack, and I'm going to wish like I moved them down. I'm just going to leave them there. I don't think that they're the killer, but they're one of them's going to give us information, and one of them's going to be guilty of something more. The mayor, it looks like everything's pointing to. I'm going to laugh though if it's like not the mayor. I'm going to laugh because it's just too obvious. But Sophia Ketchamilio, Lorraine, Thea, I like this combo right here, what we got. That was a lot of rambling, y'all. But what do you guys think of this suspect board? This is how we're leaving it. I feel okay. This settles right with my soul. But how do y'all feel about the suspect board? How do y'all feel about suspects? Let me know in the comments. Who is your top suspects? We have to have two killers. I mean, we could have one killer, but I think we have two. It could be a whole team. Let me know. Crazy thoughts, wild theories. I don't know the play-by-play of events, but I think we are very, very. We whittled down our list from last week, big time, right? And I think we're about as close as we're gonna get to finding a killer. It's somebody in that. It's somebody in those top two rows. It has to be. If it's somebody else, I'm just gonna shit a brick is what I get. I don't. This season's wild. The writing is wild. There's things about it I don't like. We're gonna do a postseason episode for sure. Do a season 10 recap. I'll do a post episode. We'll get through this, y'all. But I want to hear your theories. I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments, and you guys know I will reply to you. Give me theories. Give me suspects. If there's enough by Sunday, I'll tell you this. If there's enough by Sunday, I'll do like a final theory video and like just leave it on Monday before the episode comes out Tuesday. How's that? Give me some crazy theories, crazy thoughts, suspects. I want to know what you guys are thinking about. What's on your radar? What's on your mind? Also, by the time this episode comes out, I don't want to give it away, but there should be another collab episode. It might have been before this, or it might be after. But I hope you enjoy that collab episode. Also, if anybody is watching Scene Invaders, tell them Nerds at Night said to check their DMs. I sent them a new DM on Instagram. I am trying to reach out to them. Somebody said link with Scene Invaders, so I'm trying to link with Scene Invaders. So like, go to their comments. They do good stuff. I really like their stuff. I watch their stuff. Felicia and Dan, like those guys are great. I want to do stuff with them. So watch this. Go to their channel. They do great stuff. And they do they put the clips in the episode too. Oh, it's so entertaining. But let them know. Hey, tell them. Check your Instagram. Blake from Nerds at Night is trying to reach out to you if you guys are fans of theirs. If you're not, go follow them. Go check them out at least. And then if you like them, go follow them. This is the type of channel we run. I want to link with everybody in the community. I think somebody tagged I should work with Becca. Coblin, congratulations to her. She just got engaged. I want to work with her too. So let these content creators know, check their DMs, and let's link up. Let's do something. I want to work with everybody. But thank y'all so much for tuning in for this bit of an extended, long episode, but it kind of has to be. There's no other way around it. It kind of has to be one last dance before we get to the finale. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. I love y'all. I will keep healing up. Thank y'all so much for all the well wishes and thoughts. Y'all are really amazing. Y'all are really amazing people. Some of y'all, I mean, a lot of y'all have never even met in person. Y'all haven't met me, but y'all are just really amazing people. So just know that. Thank y'all so much. I'm gonna go back to the Nerd Cave, get to editing to make sure we get this episode out to you. Probably be out by Friday. And you know I hate doing it, but it's just because I've just been nerding out and watching these episodes on repeat to just make sure that like I have my P's and Q's, and I know I kind of have to lock in my theories, right? So we'll see what we got right. We'll see what we got wrong. We'll do it all again next week. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Follow me, Money Blake, whether Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Hopefully you're liking, commenting, subscribing on this channel. And like I always say, whether it's morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time you're listening to this, I do appreciate you. And until next week, I will see you. Peace.